Alright, what's up, you guys? Time for another video. Oh, and right in advance, just ahead of time, tell whoever, whatever side you're on, or whatever side you want that you identify as, or anything in between, or whatever ideas that you believe because your little friends believe. I don't care who you are. This, I say in advance, I'm not being a dick here. I'm not saying this just to be a dick. I'm just saying this out of observance, because way back in 2020, I was telling people the shit that happened in 2020. My idea, like human nature, people, and in politics, they do things just to get vindictive or whatever too. It's some parties were going to retaliate or whatever. And my issue here, I knew I was going to say my last Roe versus Wade video was going to be my last one, but there's a main point I wanted to make, which I forgot about. Okay, the Roe versus Wade thing, it happened all of a sudden in the news, but it was brewing up before it all became big news. You know, shit like that, it's always brewing up before that. The Supreme Court doesn't just do that overnight. And I'm making my case not to be a dick. I don't care what you wanna, when people want to roll their eyes or call me whatever. Not hardly any people avoid watching my videos. Matter of fact, they say, oh, don't watch anything from this guy. Everybody's just afraid if somebody might know some truth. But anyway, okay, you want to ask yourself one question. The Roe versus Wade thing, when it happened on the news. Why now? I mean, it just wasn't there. It just happened out of the blue. That doesn't just happen for nothing, okay? This is only a theory. I'm not saying this to be a dick, but 2020, not just we have the pandemic, and on top of that, the George Floyd thing. And keep in mind, before anybody wants to get shit happy and tell people off when you say this, keep in mind, what cops and society has a tendency to do. I would talk in parentheses, whether you're white or black. There are certain despicable things, even though you did put time in prison for. The police and society part of them hate you, even if you were a repentant in something. And I'm also going to say too, with the George Floyd thing, after the cops did what they did, I'm not sticking up for the cops. The cops had him. They should have took him in. They should have just took him in after they had him down, and none of that shit would have happened. But the guy did get in trouble for a home invasion. He threatened a pregnant woman and his baby, right? You see where I'm going with this. And certain opinions that I say, theories that I had before I'm making this video, not to be a dick, other people had similar theories because we talk in blogs. The mistake, and you're going to say, oh, what has this Roe versus Wade have to do with the Roe versus Wade? Like I'm some kind of nutter. Fuck you. Figure it out, okay? First of all, like say protest, whether it's George Floyd or anybody. Everybody does have a constitutional right to protest, right? But that doesn't give anybody right to go and destroy. And what a lot of people were taking it as, when the protests go too far, you have a right to protest, but not go in the streets and places that have nothing to do with it, do mass intimidation, and do marches that don't like protests, that they reek of, okay, we're an army now. Oh, you're supposed to be scared of us if you don't want to raise your fist in the air. Power to Mr. King of the Streets. Death to the police, and power to Mr. King of the Streets when you raise your fist in the air. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what everybody was taking. And a lot of people were taking it as, even though I absolutely believe, don't get me wrong, the cops should have took the guy in, shouldn't have been careless, got him up sooner, and none of the other shit wouldn't have happened. And the protests went too far, and it was an attack on the taxpayer. You got a bunch of people. To be fair, not all protesters are like that, but a whole bunch of people, different other kind of groups that are more like lowlifes, both black and white, get into it. Mass damage. It's an attack on the taxpayer. And how certain people take it as okay, um, okay, all of that and destruction over a guy who threatened a mother and an unborn baby. And if you were black or white watching this, what would you, what opinion would you have if anybody came and did a home invasion on your house, whether they're the same color as you or the opposite color? Hey, there's black and white people that are victims of home invasions all the time. And I'm sure there was a lot of people, also white, who have did a home invasion, threatened somebody's baby, their kids are in there. That's rotten, it's disgusting. And say the person does time for it, right? And they get out of jail, you know, part of society don't like them, and the cops don't like them, and the cops get them for something else. They have a tendency to rough them up, and like I said, and society and people take it as, since a protest went too far, right, they take it as, oh, all of that over somebody who threatened a pregnant woman and an unborn baby. And for one thing, if that was you and me, you know, well, first of all, say you and me watching this, for example, if it was you or me watching this, whatever color you are, say somebody, you got with some crowd and somebody, I don't know, spiked what you're drinking with mind-altering drugs, or you made a bad choice, somebody took, say you knowingly took mind-altering drugs, having it pitched to you, and you do something, you didn't know what you were doing, but it's already too late, and then they caught you, they sent you to prison. And you're, of course, when anything that recklessly endangers a baby, you're going to be regarded as a monster. And another point, too. See, if that were me, or anybody black or white, if it were you and me, the police wouldn't even get the chance to arrest you. You realize if somebody, whatever, if you weren't in your right mind, just for the sake of the argument, if you were under influence of mind-altering drugs and you're sitting in prison, oh, what have I done? You would never get that far in prison. If it was you and me, my point is, oh, what if the home you choose to invade, somebody related to a particular Italian family, and say the police don't even get you, nobody knows where you end up in the trunk of somebody's car somewhere. Or say if it's a black family that was the victim of the home invasion, and a certain black family gets a hold of the person that did the home invasion, you know what I'm saying? Before the police even got there. I'm trying to establish that. If you do a thing like that to a wrong black family or the wrong Italian family, and but anyway, George Floyd, he went to prison, but when you do these things, you know, that's what I'm trying to say, which could happen to you. And then if you're black or white watching this, and this happened to your wife and baby, what are you going to think of the person? You honestly going to give a rat's ass about the person's life? And keep in mind, I still think the police should have took the guy in and have his day in court. I'm just saying how people think if, you know, that happens. So anyway, we've established that, right? So anyway, a lot of people, back to what I'm saying, a lot of people are thinking and saying, they take it as, since the protests went that far, all them protesters, oh, they care more about a life of somebody who threatened an unborn baby than the baby. Nobody thinking that the victim of the home invasion can be to this day traumatized. And that woman that was the victim of a home invasion, right? Come on, that baby, that kid is gonna find out. Somebody's gonna tell that kid. The mother might, who knows? I'm not there. I can't be a fly on the wall to, like says, if you and me could be a fly on the wall, what do you guys think? That baby gets to be a teenager if the mother hides it from him, or the mother just still traumatized and just tell the kid, or he overheard. You know, in the neighborhood, that kid gets older, the kid is going to find out. Or there's a lot of people that it's all over. Somebody's going to tell that kid before somebody makes a Hollywood movie with a narrative to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this to be a dick, but based on what a lot of people have this opinion that it didn't look like the life of that baby's mattered. But of course, George Floyd never killed the mother of the baby. And my heart hurts for George Floyd. What? Nobody's heart hurts for that poor woman that got traumatized. And keep in mind, yes, there's a lot of white people who have done the same crimes out there. I mean, the country is a big place. We're all over the world. And people have the right to pick and choose. So I'm saying some people inside the government and the court, deliberately did that with Roe versus Wade out of view of the general public, and we found it on the news, but it was brewing up as a vendetta. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm right. That I think it's like a vendetta thing, and it's going to be dragged up in court. I said on the news already with Biden saying the Supreme Court is radical or whatever the hell now because of all that, and it's indicated on the news that this is going to be a fighting issue in the court. And it permitted other states to, you fail in the rest of the banks. The states have the, if you will, the authority to do what they want on the matter or outlaw abortions or whatever. And somebody knows it's probably going to be an issue in court or whatever. Biden wants an executive order. But I'm just trying to tell you, people, what they're taking this is kind of a theory, and the reason why I don't think I'm crazy by this because that's the nature of what people do. Something people do shit is a vendetta, just to get under the skin. One side does it to get under the skin of the other side. You know what I'm saying? All right, so this is because of theory of cause and effect. I mean, you can take any subject. If somebody did something, say in a workplace or in your block or your town, any kind of stupid shit that people do against each other. And people have a tendency in a vendetta and then, what does that have to do with that? But you notice in any of your own personal experiences with stupid shit in family, workplaces, drama with people on the block, even kids or of any age, people will do vendettas, like find something to do to get under somebody's skin. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm saying it based on my, this is not just a theory. Like I said, cops should have took the guy in, and look what all it caused. And, the mistake, I'm not saying nobody has a right to protest. You have a constitutional right to protest, but when it goes too far, their mistake on anybody protesting too, of going too far, get too arrogant and going too far, that creates a vendetta. People in government and citizens, and, well, you got YouTubers, black YouTubers that are, far right that criticize BLM and parts of government, which are black YouTubers that I support out of spite because it's better to, I regard it as better to support black YouTubers with other points of view, and I can list a bunch of them. I look at Young Ripa, Officer Tatum, Modern Renaissance Man. Amazing Lucas varies in his views. I have my favorite videos of him. I don't like everything he says, but there's some things he says that's really good, and there's some stuff where I'm like, oh, well. But you're going to get that with everybody. That's how I do that. That's how I do things. And one more thing. Yeah, what I was trying to figure out before I finished the video statement. I personally believe, reminding you that, the cops went too far. They should have took the guy in. But anybody like a mass protest, I don't care how big of a mob it is, they did not have the right to make a hero big hero and martyr out of this guy. I'm not saying that it was funny that he died. It was a mistake on the police's part. Probably because they knew what he did in his last stint in prison. And they made a mistake of not getting him up and took him in. They were taking their wrath on him because, face it, if you, like I said, going back to what I said, if you or me, whatever color you are, anybody that even looks like me, or you, or whether they're black or white, if you do particular crimes, and if the police could, they will kind of have a hatred for you, and if people interact, that's for one thing. And I don't condone any but police going after people for stupid shit either. I don't condone, but and there's also the thing, like I said, society has different opinions about that too. You or me do something, they'll never let you forget it. And if you're black or white watching this, and I'm like this myself, when you watch something on the news, don't let anybody else tell you what to think. Don't want to be a dick about it either. But I don't know about you, but every time I watch something, whether it's somebody the same color as me or anybody, and I have black friends that think like this, that we watch the news and we see what happens, and you look at the TV and say, oh, if that were me, if I did much less, man, my ass would be just, gone or whatever, done for or whatever the hell. If you were black or white, that's the attitude you should have. See that on TV and go, yeah, if that were me. Matter of fact, one more thought too. Way back a bunch of years ago when I had this real good factory job, there was a black gentleman I worked with, a hell of a nice guy. During the O.J. Simpson thing, he said he actually believed that if a black gentleman like him was accused of killing his wife, he wouldn't even get a trial. So there you go. How many people watching this probably have friends that are color that think, well, if that were just some plain old... Society picks and chooses, you know what I mean? Don't think they don't.